Hello, welcome back to Ether. This is Satomi and Paul from sakaso.ca. So, yeah, another week starting from today, from this moment, and just looking, looking up, looking at ourselves inside, and then understanding ourselves more deeply, and then we start the new week. It's the best way to start the week.
Mm-hmm.
So today, the title is "Why Do We Self-Sabotage?" And I think we got one message already. We all do sometimes without knowing it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah, that's really good comment. Thank you for that comment. And you are
Oh, I was looking for the email.
no, it's just one,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, one line. But yeah, thank you for the email replying back to us ahead of this live.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, you want to cover stuff first?
Yeah, I mean, as always, questions and comments are welcome. And if you enjoy this program, then please like, subscribe, share, comment. It helps our little tiny channel grow, and it's gets the message out there, and it's part of lifting up society, lifting up our world. That's what we want to do.
And comments and questions always help us to think deeply and think it from different angle, those kind of things. So it's going to help us, and I'm hoping that our words can somehow help you guys too. So we're helping each other. So that would be great. Just building this ether together, right? So yeah, comments and questions anytime during the live or even after live. When you're watching archive, you can just leave questions and comment. We'll check them often and reply as much as we can. So yeah, so self-sabotage. Why do we all self-sabotage? Oh, no, I'm just putting the word "all" somewhere in my head without having it in
works.
the title, assuming everybody's going to self-sabotage. We do.
I think it's pretty universal. Everybody does it at some point.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Yeah.
So it is a big topic, and I'm not sure where to tackle this. Just the answer and how you do it, how to deal with it, or
well, maybe we can talk about one example. Self-sabotage, right? A big part of that is fear of success.
so
right?
Example mean why
The reason.
So okay.
Yeah, a lot of people
self-sabotage what we do, not the example, but why we do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
okay.
And we can talk about specific examples from there too. So, I mean, we're trying to get somewhere and put all kinds of effort in, maybe make a business succeed, all that kind of thing, and then we derail our own train, right? Listen to Coltrane, so that's from it's, oh, what's her name? The singer. Anyway, Sheryl Crow. That's it. Yeah. So I mean, one of the reasons why we would, have a fear of success, people are not aware of it. First of all, and it sounds weird. It's like, why would I have a fear of success? Right?
Because I want to be successful.
Yeah.
This is what I want.
The whole point is to be successful.
So I'm not afraid of being successful.
Yeah.
I just having hard time being successful, and that's what.
So that's that comes right to the central part of what we're always working with ourselves and with clients, is that we have two minds, right?
Mhm.
Our conscious mind is all like, yes, I'm doing
Mhm.
everything I possibly can to create success, right?
Mhm.
And I don't have that fear. What are you talking about?
Mhm.
That's the greatest goal.
Mhm.
Well, that's your conscious mind. That's the part that we're aware of.
Mhm.
The other part of our mind,
Mhm.
our subconscious mind,
Mhm.
by definition, subconscious is outside of our awareness, and it's 95% of our consciousness.
Mhm.
So think about that, right? Our conscious mind thinks that it's in control. It's so loud and proud, and this is where we think through our problems, and we're
Mhm.
planning our day, and we're thinking about what we're going to say in the next bit of conversation with people, right? That kind of thing. That's conscious mind, right?
Mhm.
But underneath where you don't see in the back, it's the subconscious mind, and it has a different agenda, a completely different agenda. And its primary agenda is to keep you safe.
Mhm. Yeah.
Safe, always safe.
Mhm.
Keep things the same, because right now, we're not dead. And that's what your subconscious mind is basically operating on. We're not dead right now because we're keeping things the same.
Mhm.
And that's the whole thing. It's just keep, and it's called homeostasis in biology, right? Is your body's mechanisms are geared basically to keep things the same, keep things running along. Every cell does that
safe
work.
area,
Yeah.
right? We've been living in this safe area in this house, right? You do it this way, there's a rule, you're supposed to do this way, you're not doing this way. And then you eat this, and you talk like this, and you think like this. That house with all the rules, and you've been living in this house, and you are still alive, right? And the subconscious created this safe zone for you because that's safe and keeping you alive. It's successful and you're still alive. It's the proof.
Yeah,
to
it's
subconscious
self-evident proof to the
Yeah,
subconscious
subconscious mind
that what it does works.
Everything that subconscious mind is doing is working successfully, right? And then you try to leave the house, like there's a pool, like no, where are you going? It's dangerous out there. Don't go there. And then
Are you crazy?
You're gonna get this pole, and you bounce back in the house, and then okay.
So what's that pole? It shows up as self-sabotage, right?
Yeah, and then it's just and then it's subconscious mind. You don't know that's what's going on, right? Your mind 5% trying to get out there.
Conscious mind.
Yeah, conscious mind, and then with 95% of the power, you're getting pulled back. 5 versus 95. It's a little cat against tiger, right? That's what happens. And then we talked about fear of success. It's like it doesn't make sense because no, success is a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing.
It's the goal of all of Western society, right? Yeah.
But you can think about different way. If or when you become successful, there might be some consequences comes with it. That's what subconscious is sensing. And like so let's say you became rich. You have a big house and became rich.
Well, let's say you win the lottery, right? Like look at take the example of people who win the lottery. That if you look at the studies that have been done, the statistics show that within how many years is it? It's 2. Is it 2 years? I think it's as little as 2 years. In a very small number of years. Can't remember the exact number.
But probably longer. But
yeah, is it 7? Might be 7. I can't remember. But it's a small number of years. Is it? I think it's 90% or 95% of the people who won the lottery. They end up being poor than when they start before they won the lottery.
Mhm.
They lose all their family. They lose all their friends. They are miserable. They're just in the absolute dumps. Winning the lottery ain't so great, right? So for the great majority of people, right? So why is that? Well, there's a lot going on there. I mean, you've got money all of a sudden. Hey, you become the focus of a lot of attention
Yeah,
from the people that you
you're
know.
gonna have friends that you didn't think you had,
Yeah,
right?
everybody's your buddy.
All of a sudden, lots of people wants to be your friend,
Mm-hmm.
and then they come to you, and they like, you might not be thinking when you're buying a lottery, your focus is winning a lottery, but
Mhm.
subconscious mind might say, if I win a lottery, this person might ask for some money, and this, and maybe just few people that you can think of, but would be more than few people who's gonna approach you,
Mm-hmm.
or they gonna, if people don't approach, there's always jealous happens, right? Jealousy from other people, or maybe we not just winning lottery, but just being rich. And some people are jealous about other people being rich, and they say some negative thing about
Mm-hmm.
uh, rich people,
Mhm.
and then you don't want to be a target of the negativity.
Mm-hmm.
They just pick someone who's successful. Look at celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot imagine what their life like. Yes, they have spotlights. They receive spotlights, and they have so many wonderful things. But if you go to internet and some what's it called, social media, there's a whole bunch of people talking negative thing about celebrities, like
Mm-hmm.
every single day.
Well, how
there's
many TV
someone.
shows are there just celebrity gossip?
Yeah,
Right? It's just like,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then they take a picture, and then they pick the worst picture,
mm-hmm.
right? Worst picture that when they are looking from this angle to this angle, they just going this to this just the split second, they just have this moment
Like when
between,
you freeze video, right?
yeah,
You pause a video somewhere, and people a lot of times they have this weird face, right?
yeah, and then they
Derpy
pick
face.
that picture, the
Yeah.
worst picture of
Yeah.
out of million pictures,
Yeah.
and they use that, and look at how miserable she is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, but that's what they do, and they want to point finger at people who's successful, and then say negative things. And if you become successful and you become rich, that's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
That you cannot avoid.
Mm-hmm.
You know that. We know that. There's never no chance that 100% every single person is gonna like you what you do.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you do,
Mm-hmm.
some people not gonna like it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you become more famous, which is you become successful,
Mm-hmm.
you're more noticed,
Mm-hmm.
and then the percentage of receiving negativity is gonna grow,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's big part of the fear of success. That lots of people have that.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, just think about, like, the neighbor who, I don't know, for some reason they came into money, maybe from an estate, or from, maybe it's the lottery, whatever the case may be. They got a big promotion at work or something, whatever the case may be. they get a new car, right? Fancy new car. They start doing an addition on the house, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of chit chat that goes around the neighborhood, right? Oh, look at that, right? So like people can have that tendency, and then it happens within your family too, right? So you know, one family member is successful, the other family members may not be so happy about that.
Yeah,
right?
like let's say your neighbor became successful and they start renovating. How many in the neighborhood is gonna be happy about that family being successful and start renovating, right? Oh, they are successful, so they're renovating.
It's wonderful for them.
I would guess there are more people complaining about there's so many noise, it's so noisy all the time, and the truck coming in and out and spread dirt everywhere.
They have the
And
bobcat in the way. I can't get out of it from my house, right? And all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I would guess
At 5 o'clock in the morning.
I would guess more complaints than
Yeah.
people being happy for, right?
Mhm.
So that's what happens. It's just, and then that's unfortunate.
Mhm.
And then there's and yeah, jealous, and that people are successful. They feel other people. They feel less than, right?
Yeah.
And then that's lowering their vibes,
Mhm.
and then make them become negative.
Mhm.
And that happens. So you being successful, and then without you trying, lots of people like, oh, they're trying to be higher than me, and they are now they are looking down on me. Maybe you're not doing it. Maybe you are, but you're not even if you're not doing it, that's what they receive, and they are, without them feeling, they're lowering their vibes, and automatically they go into negative state, and then complaints and all those gossips and negative stuff happens because you become successful, right? And that you sense it somewhere without knowing it, and then that becomes fear of success. I don't want to be hated by others. That's going to happen, right? And I don't want to be jealous. Maybe some people, it's like jealousy is
Sometimes
more,
the people are into it.
yeah. So like a jealousy, if you are aware that it's lower frequency and energy, right? You might be able to separate. But this modern life with all this internet, the negativity comes right at you. Before, like 30 years ago, they had negative thoughts about you being successful, it wouldn't have reached you, right? Because it's like a Instagram and then YouTube or whatever, comments comes right here. Right? Negative comments, you receive them right here, a whole bunch of stuff, and yeah, it's gonna eat you up.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what, I'm not saying that's the only thing that you can sense, but that is really, really big part holding you back from being successful.
Yeah. And people can become the target of like that kind of stalker thing, right? Like if you're, especially women, right? They can be getting too much attention, right? And the wrong kind of attention, right? And that's, so it might feel like, in that sense, really unsafe to be out there and be prominent, be seen in the community, right? And seen as successful or whatever, right? So that's another thing, another little piece in the puzzle there. Um, so, so there are other aspects to it. Do you want to switch into some of those? Like, there's, there's, you're always having to let go of something is another thing, right? So, that when you are going to, become successful, that means you have to let go of that old life, right? Of all those other ways of doing things.
Yeah. So walking into unknown.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know this space, but moving forward, then you're walking into unknown. So there's a fear of unknown that is there, and then you like, am I able to take this kind of thing? And that's the fears. Subconscious mind is talking to you. Okay, you know this place very well, and you're feeling comfortable. You shouldn't leave, right? That's subconscious tells you, and that's why you have this um, like a unsettled feeling, like a being nervous or sort of like concerning and worrying. Those things happen because subconscious mind is telling you, like, you don't know what's going to happen if you leave this house, right? That's unknown. So it's not safe. And then self-sabotage happens, right? Like, maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe this is not my destiny, right? I like it, but everybody said that I should go this way, so maybe I should listen to other people. Like all those phrases comes up for self-sabotage that's coming from subconscious mind. Stay safe and then here, right? So that's happened, and then excuses, right? Excuses not to move forward because of fear of success, right? Self-sabotage happens, and then there's so many different ways of self-sabotaging, right? Excuses, one thing, right? Oh, I'm busy right now. Or I have to take care of this instead of working on this project to move forward. Or I have to do this, I have to do this. I don't have time. I'm too tired. Now you have time, but I'm too tired, right? Or somebody asked me to do this, so I have to take care of that. You know what? You can say no and put priority on your stuff, but you're saying yes. That's self-sabotaging. You are avoiding to face this because there's a fear, right? And so if you are making excuses, that's self-sabotage, and you can always, always, always find an excuse. Always, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, continuing with the fear of success too, right? Is that we can be really connected to the sense of being a victim, being small, powerless, um, um, because when we're in that place, we can actually. This is a pretty dark one, but it happens quite often that we can receive pity from others, right? So if that's what, and we're looking for that, right? If we play, basically, if we play a game of I deserve to be pitied and I pity myself and that kind of thing, what it means is you're able to get energy from other people because they reach out to you, they help you, all that kind of stuff. And you. it's kind of hard to put in words, but basically, you're you belong by being kind of helpless, right? You it's a little bit of a childlike role, where you're the one being taken care of, right? And that can feel very comfortable to people, and you're receiving from other people. So why change, right? This strategy is working.
Codependency.
Yeah, you get that codependency kind of stuff going on. Whereas if someone says, okay, I see myself as kind of like a hero, I can save this person. So there's a dynamic created there, right? Of like, I'm going to be the one to help this person, and they're going to be my project kind of thing. And the other person says, oh, okay, I'll be the project. I'll be the project, and you can help me, and then we belong together kind of thing, right? So there's an exchange of energy that happens there. And
very negative.
That person who's in the victim role, taking on the victim role, self-victimization, they're going to self-sabotage because they don't want success, because success means ending that dynamic and that codependency. And that's just their thing. And subconscious mind says, oh, this is working for now, so hey, let's keep this going. And keeps you there.
And the one who's being hero, he might be self-sabotaging, avoiding looking, or she avoiding looking at his success, his own success, right? Because he's scared of being successful. He turn energy toward this person, and then controlling, manipulating, and he or she is fooling themselves, feeling, okay, I have power. I cannot reach my goal, but I have power, right? So that's not just a victim, the one who's abusing.
Yeah, so they're both self-sabotaging,
yeah,
right?
Totally opposite way of doing it, but that's what happens. And then the human being, what we are good at is justifying.
Yeah, rationalization.
Oh yeah, that is the enemy of reaching your goals and being successful. You have excuse, and then you can justify it, and okay, I'm doing it right. So right, and then you're gonna get stuck. You have excuse, and you justify your excuse, and you are giving yourself permission to self-sabotage, and then you just keep doing it, and you're in a loop as long as you're doing it. So that's a negative loop that we are so good at it, and so we're so good at it. And then that's and then other thing is like being perfect, right? Trying to be perfect, it could be self-sabotaging, right? This is not perfect yet, so I cannot hand this one in, right? It's not perfect timing, so I shouldn't be doing this, right? I'm not perfect yet. I have to make it more perfect, right? That is actually self-sabotaging. Perfect never comes. Sorry. No. So we gotta let that go. That's a self-sabotaging, right? You're just justifying yourself that you are right, the way of you doing it right. I don't know.
It can be that, or it can also be tied to a fear of failure, which is that's more understandable for people. We started talking about fear of success and these other things that are part of it as well, of the self-sabotage. Fear of failure is a little more clear. That's why we started with the other one, because it's not so clear. but the fear of failure was like, oh no, there could be a mistake in my work,
Mm-hmm.
and that could create problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so afraid of that failure
Mm-hmm.
that I have to spend all my energy to make it perfect, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that can come into it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're spending all your energy on it, and you're like just writing one email can take all day or 2 days or something, right? If you want to get it perfect. Yeah, I know. I'm guilty.
Yeah,
So
3 days.
yeah.
It's for
So,
one email.
I don't think I did that.
Yeah.
No, not the whole day. No.
But you were sitting on one email for 2-3 days all the time.
Well, because there's different revisions, but hey, so I'm guilty. I know.
But anyway, and Scott has a comment. So conversion
Conversion disorder.
conversion disorder fit into any of this.
Scott, can you please? I'm not familiar with that term, conversion disorder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can.
If you could send another comment and clarify, we'll get back to you. Oh, here it is. I just got diagnosed with this. I've been holding things in. I'm doing a lot of self-sabotage to the point where I've been having seizures from it. I've never heard of conversion disorder before. Yeah. Yeah. So holding things in and yeah. So yeah, maybe send a little bit more on this conversion disorder. That's a new one to me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
but just holding things in,
yeah,
it is self-sabotage, right? Like instead of expressing, if that's what you are saying, holding things in without expressing and saying what you want to say, and sharing what you feel, sharing your thoughts, right? And then if that's what you mean by holding things in, then it's if you are able to express, you need to express yourself to be your authentic self, and to be successful you need to be your authentic self, right? If you're holding yourself back and holding things in, then and then you're not speaking up, that's you are blocking yourself to be your authentic self. Right? You are avoiding to be your authentic self because some kind of fear, maybe people judge you, people show some negativity at you, those kind of things. So you don't want to receive that, and you hold things in, and then you are not living your truth. It is because there's negative consequences happens in front of you, that had been happening in front of you, and then your subconscious mind doesn't want it and wants to protect you from that. So if that's what you are saying, it's like I'm just half guessing and talking about this, but if what I'm saying is on a target, then I would say it's yeah along
holding
same
things
target.
in can be very unhealthy.
It's unhealthy.
It's typical with men, in particular. We're very good at holding things in. I was push it all down, all that negative stuff. Just push it down and bury it, right? So that can come out in very difficult ways, very very strange ways, and it can come out as self-sabotage. So if that's what you mean, Scott, I looked up there what the conversion disorder, but definition there online was also confusing to me. So,
Didn't help.
so that didn't help. But anyway,
So,
yeah, for
so-
sure you can self-sabotage if you're pushing things down because you, for one, you don't want to disrupt the natural order of things down there. You don't want to take a chance on that stuff bursting out, for
Yeah.
one, right?
Mhm.
And this habit of pushing things down and burying them is keeping you alive,
Mhm.
right? You're still alive. So it's self-evident proof that since you're alive, that's working. So that's by your subconscious mind's definition, therefore good. And therefore you want to maintain that. So for sure, those kinds of habits, once we get stuck in them like that can definitely be part of that fear of success, because any of these things that we don't want to let go of, like the habit of pushing things down and not dealing with them, I think that's what you mean, Scott, and if that's right, I hope that's right. That's been working so far. So, and you're pushing it down because it's such an awful thing, you can't really deal with it. And it would be awful to have to face it and deal with it in some other way. So it's like it's a survival mechanism to do this, right? It's a coping mechanism. And you don't want to, yeah, Scott's agreeing here. So I think we're on target. You don't want to, your subconscious mind doesn't want to stop doing that because, first of all, it's going to be facing really unpleasant stuff, doesn't know how to deal with it. That's why it's been pushing it down. And then it might disrupt the natural order of things and all that stuff comes bursting up. And then, oh my God, right? And it might even change relationship. So like if you're dealing with that, the reason why you're pushing stuff down like that can be because you're receiving negative stuff from an unhealthy relationship, right? So if you stop pushing everything down, that negative stuff you're receiving from an unhealthy relationship, and then the other person that you're maybe trying to keep the relationship going with is going to not like you doing something else other than pushing it down because they're used to that. And then that could lead to a whole another big explosion, right? When you redefine interpersonal boundaries like that, right? So that whole thing could blow up in your face in so many different ways. It can create this kind of paranoia, and you do not want to let go of that way of dealing with it.
Yeah,
So
but then the way of dealing with it created issue, and then you want to choose a different way.
Yeah, and that's what he's saying. He's having the seizures, and yeah, it can create so much tension created because of the paranoia of not wanting to change anything. I'm using the paranoia. Please excuse me, Scott. I don't mean that's what you have, but like I just mean to say it's a lot of fear can be involved in anything that could be a change to that situation, and then your body's freaking out because it's in that fear mode, and it creates an unhealthy condition one way or another. It's in all of these mechanisms that your subconscious mind, these games, the world that your subconscious mind constructs for you is keeping you alive right now, but it's in many cases not really it's not going to work for the long run. Your subconscious mind doesn't worry about that though. It's only worried about right now and keeping you alive right now. So the psychological patterns you can get stuck in, and that's because of that, can be very, very unhealthy in the long term.
Yeah. So why do we self-sabotage? But then, so that's what we've been talking about. What can we do with it? How can we get out of it?
Yeah, but first I'll just say thank you, Scott, for that question. But yes, absolutely. So let's transition to that. I think the first thing to do is to be aware, right?
So catching yourself,
Yeah.
right? If you make an excuse, right, that if that's the pattern, you want to catch the pattern because that's what subconscious is doing, it's always a pattern, right? You always procrastinate when you try to sit in front of a computer and start work on a project, and you always go this way, or you always just grab a phone and start just surfing, right? There is a pattern, and then you catch yourself a pattern, self-sabotaging pattern, and because it's coming from subconscious mind. Now you are looking into subconscious mind instead of, oh, this is just happening, right? Just instead of letting subconscious control you all over, right? And then make you stuck in self-sabotaging, you catch yourself, hey, I'm self-sabotaging again. I'm procrastinating again, right? Finding that moment, it's first step, right? Being aware, okay, I'm doing it again. Yes, you're doing it again, but you being aware you're doing it again is better than you just doing it over and over and over without thinking, right? So that's the first step, catching yourself in that, being aware. Okay, it's happening again, right? And then it's a habit. It's just automatically it flows this way, right? There's your goal, and flow goes. Phew, avoid that goal naturally. Like we just, for some reason the current goes this way and this way and doesn't go this way, right? And you catch yourself that, and then you want to create something goes there. You don't have to have start building a big bridge like that, right? It's then self-sabotage, another level or another angle of self-sabotage happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yes.
trying is not going to be the best solution, right? It's not going to be effective. Um, denial is not going to be effective. So let's take this apart. So first of all, being aware, right? And then second of all, don't just deny it, right? Just say like, oh, maybe it's that. No, it can't be that, right? And you can't do that. You have to be brutally honest with yourself, right? And say, so, okay, am I just burying stuff? Am I just afraid of other people's jealousy? Am I afraid that I'm going to disrupt the dynamic with my partner? Right? Is that going to, is it possibly going to lead to trouble in the marriage? Right? Is it possibly going to lead to, all kinds of things, right? So,
am I afraid that people is going to jealous?
Yeah.
People is going to try to take money?
Yeah. Because if you become aware at least a little bit, you might not allow yourself to become aware enough and be honest about and go into it, right? That's what I mean. So you might say, am I jealous? Am I worried about other people being jealous of my success? Oh, that's hilarious. I've never been successful, right? That's caveat, right? Right? Or to diminish it and just say, well, that would just be dumb. That's not such an important thing. Think about how much gossip there is, right? Think about high school, right? How important it is to fit in, right? And to have those relationships with your friends, right? Think about how important it is when somebody, your neighbor, and all the people to notice when something changes in the neighborhood, right? They notice. And think about that example of the lottery, of people winning the lottery. It's real, right? Those people's lives turn into disasters. So taking it seriously, even though it sounds like such a weird thing, and not just dismiss it or be afraid to go into it because of the implications. yes, it might lead to disruption of some relationships that you have, right? But and you have to weigh that, whether that's worth it, right? You know, if you're denying yourself success because your brother might get jealous, is that a good enough reason to not be successful, right? When your family is dependent upon you, right? If your family is looking to you to provide and to create a good life, maybe that's more important than the relationship of your that. I mean, yeah, that's always going to be your brother, and you want that to be good. It might not necessarily be a full trade-off. It might just be a renegotiation, right, of the relationship. So the fear of the change, being willing to face that fear, is critical at that point, and to go into it and to be open to what is really going on there, and to break into what it is that's derailing your train, right?
Yeah. So going back to what you can do, right? Let's say you learn to be honest, and you found maybe this is a fear, fear of being famous and successful and receiving people's negativities, right? Jealousy. Okay, maybe this is my fear, right? You found that it's like maybe 1% of the chance. It's okay if you feel like maybe 1%. Great, there is 1% of fear, and the first thing is tell yourself it's okay to have fear. It's okay. We need fear to protect ourselves, not overprotecting. That's what we don't want. But fear keeps us. What's that? Keeps us. What would be the word? I cannot find the word. Sharp. Like if you we need fear. Then we wouldn't walk off the cliff, right? To drop into the ocean and be dead.
We'd probably play with toasters in the bathtub if we didn't have fear.
So fear. We need fear, and that's healthy level. It's good, and so just knowing that it's good and it's gonna help. It's gonna help us. Having a little bit fear is gonna help us avoid some stuff. Too much fear and fear controlling you, it's not helping you, and it's holding you back. So finding the fear, maybe this is fear, and being aware, and then being okay with it, and being grateful for that fear. Thank you very much for protecting, but I don't need this much fear, and so it's okay. And then I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change the pattern, so I'm not reacting without me knowing. Subconsciously, I'm reacting to the fear. I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna tell my subconscious mind, and then work with subconscious mind to change this pattern that making me stuck in this negative loop, and so I can move forward and not self-sabotaging, right? So first, being aware of fear, and second, being okay with fear, right? And just use compassion, self-compassion. Like, okay, I have fear. Everybody has fear, and it's okay. It's okay, right? Okay with yourself having fear. So that's important, instead of no, I shouldn't be.
Well, and from my own healing that I've done, like with the PTSD, there is a process to go through you cannot fight the fear. It's not it's not this big battle where you're going to fight the fear and win kind of thing. That's not very productive. What's much more effective is you allow the fear to take its appropriate place in your life, just like you're saying. So fear can become this monster that's out of control and grabbing and controlling everything in your life, the steering wheel in your car, right? Everything. And you're always, afraid. It can be like that, or it can just come up under certain circumstances and get out of control, right? So it's not about pushing it down, and getting rid of it, like you're saying. It's about listening to its message, and then asking it to sit down at the table so that you can hear all of the voices that are at play, right? Let's listen. Okay, thank you, fear, for your message. You're doing a great job of keeping aware of things and letting me know when there's problems. I appreciate you doing that. Let's hear from love now. I mean, what's love have to say about this, right? And so you have this conversation inside yourself, and then fear is okay with that, because that's where actually fear wants to be, is in that place, right? Because that's its job. It's like, hey, red flag, right? But letting it take control, that's a whole different story, right? So yeah, that's exactly the direction to go. So there are different ways of doing that, right? You can face fear, right? You can, which is a bit like that battle, like I mentioned, and I said not to necessarily do that. As you should have said, it's not always the right way to deal with it. There are other ways. You can starve your fear as well by not feeding it all the time and playing into its games. That's another way that you can deal with it. So yeah. What else? So what else did you want to say?
Okay. So it kind of lost track of what we were talking about.
What do you do about
the
self-sabotage?
So being aware and listen to the fear and being okay with fear instead of fighting against or denying, right? Acknowledge it and accept it, because we all need fear, and then talk to the fear, and then be grateful for fear, and then fear is gonna, I've been listened, and I don't have to be so loud. It can quiet down the fear, the voice.
It takes the energy out of it when you listen to it.
So that can happen, and that's then you can change the pattern. That's what I was gonna talk, like this habitual pattern, right? Self-sabotage pattern. Like there's so many different ways, like you were saying, the victim and abuser, that they are doing totally opposite thing, and then maybe they're doing self-sabotage. Both of them, right? That's totally different way of doing it. So there's so many different ways. Everybody self-sabotage different ways. So there's no one answer here. You do this, right? But it's a pattern, and you catch yourself, you going into the pattern, and then just by little bit by little bit, trying to change it. If you're trying to change like 180 degree at once, then it's gonna be hard. Like you were saying, that's fighting. Like I trying to build the bridge to this goal, like a solid bridge. It's gonna take forever, and then self-sabotage happen, right? So it's when self-sabotage start to happen and the fear is coming up, maybe start with being grateful. That's totally different, something totally different. hey, I'm self-sabotaging, and then my subconscious mind is trying to protect you. Thank you very much. But do I want to be overprotected like this? Right? So you have a conversation from different angle. That's some subconscious mind is not used to. Subconscious mind used to just you following the flow wherever subconscious takes you, right? And then you just stop and I'm doing this right now because I'm self-sabotaging and because fear is protecting me. Interesting, right? It's just that it's breaking that flow of the subconscious mind already, right? And then, okay, thank you very much, subconscious mind, for protecting me. Do I want to be protected like this for the rest of my life? Or do I want to go somewhere else? And then you can ask yourself, so let's say if you are just surfing on the phone instead of working on the project, do I really want to surf on my phone for the rest of my life instead of doing the project? Maybe I just do 5 minutes working on the project, and then if I really want to do the surfing, go and check in my Instagram, TikTok, I'll do that after 5 minutes, right? Just you don't have to tell yourself like I'm gonna work next 2 hours solid. That's putting the bar so high and then making yourself um, avoid like self-sabotage. This is so high. Uh, I cannot reach, so I'm gonna go here. Right? You're setting yourself up for self-sabotaging. So bring the bar really, really low that you can just walk over, easy peasy, and then you can do it, right? So there's no self-sabotage because it's easy. When you did it, like let's say 5 minutes on the project, you did it, and hey, I did it. I broke that cycle. Thank you for protecting me, but I can do this much now, right? And then you do that, and then it's just a little tiny baby step, and then you keep doing it and catching yourself, and then being grateful, and then change the pattern just a little bit, and then you keep doing it, and then subconscious mind has get used to this new pattern, right? And then it becomes the natural pattern. You're doing it for working on the toward your goal for 5 minutes. That happens, and after that, maybe you go back to surfing on the internet, and then you change again a little bit. Okay, instead of surfing on the internet, maybe I'll do some workout, or maybe instead of 5 minutes, I'll do 15 minutes. Right? Just just tiny baby step. You break the pattern. That's the key. Breaking the pattern, being aware of the pattern, and breaking the pattern, and changing it to tiny bit something that it empowers you, right? And because subconscious loves the pattern, that's what once you created the pattern, then subconscious is gonna keep the pattern going because you already proved that, hey, I'm still alive. I didn't surf on the phone and I did work on the project. I'm still alive. Look at me. I'm still alive. Subconscious mind, are you listening? I'm still alive. Look at me. I'm still working. I'm safe. So let's do this. Right. So, and then, and just just doing that. It takes time. Habit change takes time, but that's what how subconscious works. So that's how you can approach subconscious mind,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
There's, I know there's lots to it. It's just a tiny piece of what you can do. This is not the answer. It's deeper and wider. But,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that, like the first couple of steps that you can do. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and like Satomi says, there's lots of techniques, right? And we don't have time to go into them all today, but if it is hard doing this stuff, right, then it is because of subconscious beliefs, right? That's what, those those beliefs want to keep us there and keep us safe, right? So there are what Satomi's saying is one technique that can work um, to help break that cycle and create a new pattern, a new belief, and that's absolutely valid. But if it is still giving you trouble, um, then what you can do is schedule a breakthrough session with us. Just go onto our website and go to this link, and you can schedule a free consultation with us, and we'll talk about your situation and what it is that's causing that pattern, that's creating the self-sabotage, whether that's a fear of success, a fear of failure, or the other things we talked about today. There could be many other things that are part of the picture, but ultimately it's coming down to the subconscious mind and then making shifts, and that's what we can help you do, is make those shifts, right? There are easy, quick ways. Once you target the right target and use the right technique, it's not that hard to change a subconscious belief. Um, um, there's a process to go through, and it doesn't have to be so difficult, and that's what we can help you do, is to take that path instead, right? And make that task much easier, much faster. And you can also check out our services, and you can schedule a reading. So Tony can walk you through what she's receiving from guides, from ancestors, to help you come to the answers that you're looking for in life, and to walk through things in a much easier way. And yeah, with that, thank you for stopping by, and if you enjoyed the show today, please like, subscribe, and share and comment, and we'll see you right here on Ether next Sunday at 4 p.m. And you take care. 4 p.m. Eastern. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye. See you next week.